Hello and welcome to the back nine of round 2 of the 2025 MVPs Open at Austin, presented by Flight Factory. We are at Sprinkle Valley Disc Golf Course and Austin Beer Works, and yeah, loving the day. Maybe not loving all aspects of this course because it can really get you, but several people under par, and this is a really long intro. I'm Erika Stinchcomb.
I'm Madison Walker. We're your two hockeys, and we do love this venue, honk.
Honk. Venue is what I was looking for that whole time. Thank you.
No, it's really, honestly, it's one of the most quintessential disc golf venues ever. Brewery on site, fun little putting area, a big, nice field. Infrastructure is wonderful.
Yeah.
Clean. Beer is delicious.
It's
food trucks.
All good stuff. We're back at Tourney Central here. Take it away.
Yep, we got a big old crowd behind the tee pad on hole 10. We're right next to hole 1's tee pad as well. It's very exciting. This is a downhill 290-foot hole that plays as one of the easiest holes of the day every time we play around out here. I like just a baby flex forehand. You see some dead straight mid-range style forehands. You can see backhands with just a light right finish. You want to come in nice and slow, though. Ground play can be huge on this hole.
I also love a slight flex forehand, and I feel like we do not agree on shot shapes very often.
No, we don't.
We have very different games. I'm excited for us.
Rebecca not quite getting the turn on it that she wants, but good.
Whoa.
God, look at that power.
I have no idea what that looks like back there.
Yeah, it's definitely a tree jail. She might even have trouble getting all the way up to the green. Another area of the course that's very contingent on just 2 feet of distance in either direction.
Check out this baby flex.
Really nice. Deep in circle 1 with maybe an obstructed putt for Sarah's birdie.
Man, just look at that wind.
It's crazy looking.
Yeah. Working the flex. A little too turned out of the hand. She drops to a decent spot, though, for par. I feel like this hole became harder because the pressure is all of a sudden on to get this one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was kind of a must get before. But there was more opportunity, so now it's like, you gotta.
This is a desperation birdie.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Valerie just going to lay it up to the railroad tie for par.
Oh, and I'm going to float and approach up to the railroad ties.
I would bet that it played easier last year because we were less desperate.
Yes.
You know?
Yep.
It was just a fun one.
Yeah,
now you're like, oh my gosh, got to get it.
Only a quarter of the field getting this one. And Rebecca with a really tough out. Oh.
Ah, sick.
Okay. A little help from the trees.
Hokom definitely a bit obstructed, looking at kind of an Anheuser bid here.
It's a fun little putt.
Had the right move on it.
Oh, I think those little teeny branches are in the way too.
You're totally right.
Yeah, she had to go wide.
I didn't even see those.
This played as the second easiest hole. Only 13 birdies out of 53 competitors.
53 desperate competitors. Yeah. A good comebacker.
Jessica Weiss and Hannah Bloomroos parking the hole today. Rebecca ecstatic that she was able to get out from tree jail and recover this par.
Yeah, she definitely posted bail on that one.
A couple of tap-ins.
All pars on the lead card. A little bit of a surprise there.
Definitely. Rebecca and Kristen holding strong with that 2 down as the hot round of the day.
Hole 11, one of the more difficult par 4s out here, and they made it harder. It's a mandatory off the tee. You see a lot of forehands. Backhand can work too. Ideally, you're landing in this open area right here, and then the way the hole is designed kind of makes you throw down this tunnel. The OB line used to be on the railroad ties a full 30, maybe even 40 feet to the right. So you used to be able to kind of work more of a hyzer through the tree line, and you'll still see that shot, but it's obviously risky because if you catch a tree, you could drop OB without ever crossing. But first things first, let's get out of this gap. The forehand's a great play, but yeah, you don't want to fade too far into this right side. That's going to be kind of tough from there.
Yeah, in order to get to the landing zone, you do have to throw, I would say, about a 320-ish foot forehand. You don't want to get a ton of ground play at the end either. You want it to push a little bit more straight, like we see Sarah's just doing here.
But not too straight because you'll hit the trees.
Yeah.
And even that's maybe a
Pinched.
bit far right
Yeah.
to line up to the tunnel anyway.
Yes.
Great for the backhand hyzer. That's so risky.
Very risky.
And this is my second least favorite change just because that OB line is for the MPO pin. It's not there for us. So it just seems like an oversight.
It was not considered in our whole design simply because the tree line where the OB line is now situated there's no gaps. So it removes the hyzer. It forces you to play up that tunnel side, and
which isn't a realistic landing zone.
Not necessarily, not reachable by most of the field, and forces you to just play for par. So again, we're doing another par 4 where we're playing for par.
And these are all great tee shots, but it's going to be quite a feat to see any realistic putts come from any of those drives.
One thing that was nice today is the wind was not as difficult on hole 11 today. It was blocked. True. And so we were able to attack a little bit more. Rebecca really just taking a risk there and getting fortunate to get through that first line of trees, but unfortunately trickling into the left side.
Hokom, honestly, good enough to potentially get there. I thought she was a little bit more right. Little windy, little elevated in the wind.
Yesterday, this was the second most difficult hole of the day with 68% of the field with a bogey, 40% of...
Oh, I was so surprised to see Owen go forehand there, but she was trying to go down the tunnel.
Yeah. She was definitely in a desperation mode. There's not many options there.
But trying to play safe.
Yeah. 40% of the field with a double bogey or worse yesterday. We did have, again, like we said, some easier wind, but you can see it's not helping a whole lot.
This OB line's just too punishing to not have a bigger gap in the tree line to go for.
Yeah, the angle is a little too cut off. Maybe they could even keep the OB line pinched by the green and have it kind of fan out a little bit earlier. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. Ooh, Rebecca left with a touchy shot. She's not able to get out on her third.
This left side is so brutal. You see a lot of second shots filter into this area.
And a perfect upshot and a stress-free par.
You see a lot of third shots also landing in this area. Sometimes you see fourth shots landing in this area.
On a bad day. Rebecca laying up her fourth. Valerie way up here. Also going to be a stress-free par.
There were only 3 birdies on this hole today. Ella Hansen, Danny Clyden, and Paige Pierce found those birdies.
Danny had a perfect forehand drive and then did the hyzer play and skipped pin high and had to make a circle's edge putt. Nice. It was great.
High risk,
but
high reward.
High risk. Making good on the comebacker. Double bogey.
Today, we had a slightly lower double bogey and above percentage at only 20% of the field, but 43% of the field with a single bogey.
Exciting.
Rebecca, unfortunately, carding another bogey. And seeing a couple pars on this hole is great.
Mm-hmm.
This hole averaged at 0.85 strokes over par. Not quite a full stroke like we saw yesterday. Full stroke and a half.
Yeah, I think, as you said, everyone playing just a touch more conservative today, seeing how the scores panned out.
Much friendlier wind.
True. In some places.
Yeah, on that hole only.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, on that hole especially. Yeah. Silva Saarinen ahead on the 12th. It's a 330-foot par 3, and that is the straightest shot I've seen on this hole in a really cool way.
Yeah, so straight, so low, so linear, and
So birdie.
in the bullseye.
Whoa, she's having a roller coaster of a round. A lot of birdies, but a lot of other numbers. Owen gonna slide down with that double bogey into a tie for second. Rebecca Cox in solo first for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sweet.
Hole 12, we just watched Silva lace this one. We had a headwind on it yesterday, and it played so tough for the FPO field. Today, it was a tailwind, I believe, with a little bit of right to left as you got out towards the green. Still, this is a tough birdie to get. It looks like, in my opinion, a baby flex.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mine too. Wow.
Yeah.
We think.
But you do have to throw it as, pretty max power.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem is if you do not throw it far enough, you land in a sea of tiny trees that can make putting pretty impossible. And that is, unfortunately, the most common landing zone on the hole.
But it is better than the right side.
Yes.
I can speak from experience. And Hokom going to check up just on the corner of the right side, so she's going to be fine.
It would be so cool if we could do like heat maps of landing zones.
I know.
I know that's impossible at our current.
Someday we'll get there.
Someday.
When we're, in our, 50s?
Yeah.
And still doing this?
Yeah. They'll never be tired of us. Where Valerie just landed, it would be so red. Fiery hot red.
Just on, yeah, absolutely. Neon.
Yeah. Rebecca in an orange zone. Oh, and getting the good flex on it and getting some nice fade as well. She'll be right on the edge of circle 2.
Pale yellow zone.
A quarter of the field getting to circle 2 in regulation. Only 6 competitors getting to circle 1. Man, that's less than I would have expected on this hole today.
Oh, it's hard.
It
Look
is
at
hard.
this tough shot from Rebecca. Nice little turnover, and she'll have a nice chance to save par from 25 feet. Well done. Sarah with a nice little upshot into the bullseye.
And this is the story of hole 12. A lot of these little chippy approaches. Not much ability to be able to run at this putt. Shows how impressive Silva Saarinen's putt was. A nice little run from Valerie Mandujano.
Rebecca, great par save. Clutch.
There were 6 birdies on this hole today. Kelly Foster and Hot Goose Erika Stinchcomb with long putts from circle 2. Heck yeah.
Yeah. It's my first birdie of the tournament. I think I leaked a single tear.
She did it, folks.
It felt great.
That's how it feels, for real.
And par is good on this hole.
And we will see a round of them on our lead card.
Kristen Lott, 3 down.
Still holding on.
Hey everyone, Gannon here, and I want to invite you to compete in the Power Disc Golf Academy Championship Series. This is the only professional amateur nationwide disc golf series, and everyone is welcome to compete. Qualifier events will be held in cities across North America. If you place high enough at a qualifier event, you'll earn the invitation to compete in our championship event at Eagles Crossing Disc Golf Course. Scan this QR code for dates and locations of the qualifying events. We hope to see you there.
Hole 13, another par 4, 580 feet. Okay, yeah, this was like a headwind today, which was
Ripping
so
headwind.
fun because it just turned your disc into that right side. You need to fade a little bit to the left, but mostly straight, and then it lines you up to this almost tunnel that just kind of ends right here. It's like not quite a full tunnel, so you just gotta get down there and then pick your gap. Yeah, backhand straight shot / slight hyzer is the typical play. Obviously, Hokom's gonna go forehand here, and then the second shot, it's I don't know. I like the sidearm, and I like playing out to the left side more because there's OB on the right as you get to the pin. There's also OB behind the pin and some dumb little logs blocking a lot of upshots.
Ooh, that drive was so close to being perfect. She does fade in just at the very end, or I guess I should say turn in at the very end of the trees. But I think she'll be open for her second shot.
And the wind was really causing the disc to push a little too straight into that right side, and that's not a great kick. This is one, I don't know, this is another just tough birdie. Distance-wise, gettable by everyone in the field, but it's kind of, to me, it feels like hole like 7 as well. Just like, gotta be so perfect like Rebecca here.
But even being perfect like that, even being absolutely dead center in the fairway, the secondary fairways options aren't clear.
Yeah, they're murky.
They're murky for sure. And you do have to get a little lucky. You do see a lot of circle 2 putts on this hole for birdie.
Own with what looks like a perfect shot and feels like a perfect shot, but it's going to be amazing to see how much harder it is for her than it is for Rebecca to get down there. Uh-oh. Oh, boy. That's a disaster. Valerie going for the forehand roller, catching an early tree. Now she's pretty deep on the right side. I wonder if she can get to the corner. A little high and stalled, and still not out.
This hole so quickly can spiral out of control, just trying to get out of the first half of this fairway. Sarah, a lot more tucked into the cedar tree than I thought.
Whoa. Man, full commitment, but look at that wind turn that sidearm over into the tree. It's going to be fine. Anything at the top of the hill will give you a chance to get a par.
Yeah, I think that tree helped a lot.
It's actually not awful way over left, but I do think it was a good
That was
break.
going to be in the shul. Oh, and using that wide left side fairway Erika talked about. Here's where you got to get a little lucky. And
yeah, she does.
She does. She's going to be in, I think
it's
right on the
edge. Yeah. Valerie, very deep patent pending stance, tree right in her backswing. Wow, that's amazing that she stopped her arm from hitting it. I think she might have hit it a little bit. And it's so good.
That's so good. Really great distance, letting the hill do a lot of the work. She was pushing that OB line just a little bit, but she'll have a long putt.
I would love to see Rebecca a bit more rewarded for such a good drive. Yeah. But she parks it. Ball don't lie.
Ball don't lie.
Wow. Man, yeah. The more I see women playing that kind of left side wide forehand, the more I like it.
Yep. Sarah gonna go on the second half of that wide forehand. We just saw Rebecca throw. She catches one of those trees, and that's just kind of part of choosing that side. It could happen.
It could. Valerie with another perfect little upshot. Looking at a double bogey, but could have been worse. Hokom just going to lay up for par. This is a very windy green.
So I said would see a lot of players putting from circle 2 in regulation, but there was only 13 competitors that got down there for birdie.
I mean, it played way harder today in the headwind.
That's true. It was the 5th most difficult hole of the day, averaging at 0.64 over par. Own, unfortunately, not able to clean up her par.
Wait, did you say how many birdies there were?
There was only 3 birdies. We have Rebecca Cox with the only look for one on our lead card.
Nice short look. It's the look you like.
Sure is. Silva Saarinen and Maria Oliva, the only other 2 birdies on the day.
Nice.
Sweet.
Rebecca's taking strokes on the card and the field.
This is another par 4 that I don't hate.
Yeah. Also in my don't hate category. God, we are really in sync today.
We sure are. Here's Silva, who just came off that birdie on 12, and she's trying to get some big distance on this freshly changed hole 14.
Man, she's ready to blow by this thing. That was a helpful tree.
She got this birdie yesterday as well, one of the few competitors. It says 350, but it's uphill and requires a very specific line.
Another kind of baby flex, or man, they're both just going dead straight with so much power. Holland getting a better kick to just outside the bullseye. Silva
doesn't need it.
So good at long putts.
So much power on that straddle putt.
And that's a turkey for Silva.
To get this birdie 2 days in a row, that's a flex.
Yeah.
And a really nice close putt from Holland Hanley.
Now they're just birdieing the same holes. And one more ahead now on 15. Kristen Latt also having a solid round. I believe she even par right now. Something like that.
No, I think she's 3 under.
Is she? Oh my gosh, you're right.
Yeah.
Because, she got a turkey to start.
Yep.
Wow, that's crazy. Good memory. Great forehand. You don't see that very often that gets that far to open up this second shot.
The power on
And
that drive.
Perfect angle, perfect ground play.
Is she going to birdie this?
It looks like it. This wasn't birdie yesterday, right?
No.
Oh, she parked
oh,
it.
my gosh.
I want to clap into the mic right now. It's so impressive. 4 down?
Oh my gosh, that's such a good birdie.
Wow.
That forehand drive was massive distance.
Mm-hmm.
Every bit of 380, 360,
Yeah,
380,
in there.
It's far.
375. I don't know. Throw out a number.
Here's hole 14. We just watched Holland and Silva birdie this thing. We had a shorter pin location last year just in that little slew of sticky trees on the left-hand side. Now we have to push something further past these trees and get a little ground play at the end, or just throw a big air shot if you are yoked. You see a lot of players overturn their disc trying to get power on their flex shots and finding themselves scrambling from the right side. You also see players going deep like we saw Silva and not really having an option to putt.
Rebecca with, come on, a perfect shot. That is that same lucid evader that I just love watching.
Yeah, this is elite level distance from Rebecca Cox. Really, really impressive. Just a perfect line at that 375-ish mark. Hokom was just going to be playing for par on this one, not trying to go crazy, and unfortunately a little bit of an early release is going to make this par very tough.
Uh-oh. Owen holding on, hitting the same tree, stopping early. Also, probably not going to be the easiest from there, but I think better than the left side. Valerie with a nice-looking shot, miss that tree. Ooh. And she's going to squeak into the circle.
Really nice ground play there at the end.
Owen with a kind of a tough shot. Looks like it needs to be a pure hyzer. That looks great. Good recovery.
A lot more people getting themselves in the position to putt today than we saw yesterday. 27 competitors getting to circle 2 in regulation, 15 getting to circle 1 in regulation. That's very surprising to me and awesome. Hokom with the slow roll.
Very.
And she is just on the edge of circle 1 with a putt to potentially save par.
A little soft and left side on that par save attempt. On. Ooh, great par save. Dances around the cage. Great birdie from Valerie.
Valerie, 1 of 11 birdies today on hole 14. This played is the 3rd easiest hole.
I guess everyone's scrambling well. Nice to see Rebecca with back-to-back birdies as well. Yeah, probably not. Mostly pars, I'd imagine.
Kristen Lott again ahead on 16, one of the more open holes we play at Sprinkle Valley. Her drive is a crush. Her second shot set up nicely with a little hyzer.
Looks like it probably got a little help from those railroad ties. And just inside the circle looking at a turkey to move to 5 down.
Oh, what a putt. Little fist pump as well.
That's a good one. That elevated pin is no joke, and that was a pretty stiff right to left crosswind for her on that putt. Probably.
No, it was a little bit more protected down in that little gully,
Yeah.
thankfully.
Depending on when you came through.
True that. We had some gusts coming through today that were wild. And that's going to bring Kristen to 5 down.
And a tie for second. Hole 15, a par 4, 590 feet. This is the one we saw Kristen get that no one else has. This is the hyzer gap, aka the sucker gap, according to Madison. It is harder to get the birdie in that gap. I will agree with that. If you can line yourself up similar to where Kristen was to throw a nice hyzer that just pushes deep and gets a nice big flare skip into the circle, you are absolutely thrilled. Most of us playing for par, it's so difficult to find the correct landing zone to attack this for birdie. I think this is the best way to do it, but it feels a little riskier to me than the right side gap. Though I went for it today because I'm not a sucker.
Valerie, going to take the sucker gap?
It's honestly a good play for par.
I'm just kidding.
I just want them to know. I know you know.
Yes, it is a good play for par. It's really important to land on the right side. If you get tangled up early left, it's so hard to scramble, even just for par.
Fantastic shot.
Yeah, own with nice shot shape. Unfortunately, with that distance, it doesn't put you in position to be able to attack.
And a nice solid forehand shot from Hokom. Also, I mean, a great shot, but again, it's just so hard to get as far as Kristen did to be able to go for it on the second. Rebecca in a bit of a strange spot. I'm going to be throwing a pretty wide hyzer with something stable that skips left. Well done.
Yep, and that will set her up for being able to recover that par. A fairly simple third shot. This is a very technical shot from Sarah.
Yeah, most women would be taking the backhand, I think, inside of those trees. This is quite the angle to be throwing.
And she's unfortunately going to filter just a tiny bit too deep. With her forehand, she can likely still get up and down from there, but it's going to be a question. Yeah, it's going to be a question of whether she's going to go patent pending or a really forced hyzer forehand. Valerie trickling through those center trees, just playing a nice, simple approach shot for par.
Not getting too greedy. That's impressive. From there and where Own is, it's tempting to try to maybe sneak it into circle 2, but this angle is tough. And that's about as good as it gets.
Mm-hmm.
Rebecca throwing 3 with a little step out sidearm. Looking for this to turn left.
The wind was really howling through this part of the course.
That looks really good.
Rebecca,
check up.
Yeah, putting a little too much on this and getting some ground play, but she's still putting from circle 2.
Yeah, I think that shot shape with maybe a mid-range would have been a good play.
Yeah, also maybe just not a tailwind.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Oh, the wind was so hard on this hole.
Hokom, a master of this little turning forehand shot. Little low. I'm calling for it to skip.
I like the play. I like the idea, but just a little low early.
And like slammed in that tailwind. Valerie left with a nice little simple upshot, and you are stoked for a bullseye look for par in this hole.
So only 4 competitors got to circle 2 in regulation. Only 3 people got to circle 1 in regulation. This is such a hard hole to get birdie looks on, but still playing in the middle of the pack on difficulty because FPO is so good at game plans.
Yeah, I think everyone recovered from yesterday.
Yep.
We're like, okay, we know how to par this.
Yep.
Were there...
And didn't try to push.
Yeah. Was Kristen the only birdie?
No, Kristen was one of 3 birdies.
Wow.
Yep, Maria Oliva got another good one.
Nice.
And Jessica Weiss.
Rebecca, high committed bid for the par. She's coming back for bogey at 24 feet, we'll call it. Nice putt.
Yeah, that is a very professional putt to make.
And the slow bleed.
Yeah.
3 bogeys in a row. Still okay, but not feeling great. Valerie breaking that hole up nicely. As did Owen.
Yeah, Owen with almost an identical game plan.
Mm-hmm.
Kristen Lott holding on to that 4 down through 17, heading into the hardest hole on the course. Let's play hole 16. We just watched Kristen get a birdie on this one with a nice long putt on the elevated basket. You have to get something out here into the open. Farther is of course better, but more importantly, you want to be to the right. If you try to start chucking down the left-hand side, you bring those 2 big trees into play and an OB line, and strokes can add up quickly. If you land far enough and to the right enough, you can just throw a big hyzer to this green. It is difficult, though, to check up. You see a lot of discs flare skipping out of bounds or coming in too hot and going deep, giving you a very long putt on the elevated basket.
Valerie, nice shot with that Avenger SS.
There was a right to left crosswind, I believe, that you could feel as soon as you got out of the woods.
Owen with the forehand play that needs to check up, and it does. That's a great play for par. It's maybe just a bit short of where you want to be to attack for birdie, though. Uh-oh. Oh, man.
I feel like they lost a tree on this hole. Wasn't the gap? Didn't the gap used to be tighter?
It did feel tighter.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember exactly where it was,
Me
but now that
neither.
you say that, it feels real.
I think it almost forced you to throw a forehand flex.
Uh-huh. Oh, I think it was in that little OB area.
Yeah, that little corner that's pushed out.
And I always think you're teeing off from out of bounds, but you're not.
Yeah.
Rebecca inbounds. Oh, no. Catches another tree. Still inbounds, but looking at a bogey at best.
Yeah, this is a disastrous start to hole 16. This is a snake bite hole. It's one that can sneak up. After playing in the woods, you kind of relax your focus a little bit, and boom, all of a sudden you are adding strokes.
And good distance, but that left side can be tricky because that last huge tree is right in the way. She can go left side of it, but I don't know. That doesn't feel the best to do.
Yeah, it's a lot riskier of a shot.
Just right up against that OB line, branches everywhere.
It might be her only option, though. Sarah breaking the hole down really nicely.
Also, that tree just looks haunted.
It does. I looked at some of the low branches to see if there are any buds. Like, is this thing going to be alive? Is it alive?
That was a nice upshot. Valerie going really wide and stalling, which is a good play with the wind we had, but she just has a little too much power and goes deep. Look at that dust kicking up.
Rebecca going to go inside route, trusting her stuff. And that's great.
More than great.
Oh, she was further down than I thought.
Still, that was a incredibly high level shot and great recovery after 2 rough drives. Owen lays that up, playing the hole really well.
Hokom also masterfully breaking down this par.
Kind of tough to figure out where Valerie went out of bounds. Can hear them discussing. And looks like they agreed to a spot. Very long look, super dangerous putt. I don't lay up very often, but this is one I would consider laying up personally.
The wind, it looks like it's really picked up right now, but
she goes for it and drains it for par.
That's one of the shots of the weekend.
Absolutely. Let's see this slow as she rockets this thing.
Look how windy it is, too.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
If she misses, she's OB in 1 second.
I like that Valerie's just the most chill on the course, and then she just does that. Like,
so cool.
She's just so relaxed out there, and then she just jams a circle 2 putt, elevated basket, OB behind it, crosswind.
Honestly, my hero.
Relatable.
Yeah, that one hurts. Rebecca with honestly an amazing bogey save.
Yeah, if I threw 2 shots in the woods first.
Right? Hokom slams it in there.
Yeah. And then gives it the Texas 2-finger.
don't.
Isn't that a thing?
Is it?
Yeah, like guns.
Finger gun?
Yeah.
Okay, I just never heard that. Moving on.
I hope it's a thing.
Holland tying it up with Rebecca at 2 down. Kristen Lott just behind with a 4 down. Hole 17, the island hole. Just a headwind, just a ripping headwind, harder than yesterday. 280 feet of pure treachery. Yeah, it's tough. We're having to throw at least fairway drivers, maybe even a distance driver, get up and over this wall and try not to just blast out the back side of it. That's open, which is just really fun. If you miss, you have to putt from a drop zone that's maybe 50 feet away, and the antlers there just block the straightforward putt. I like the width on this. Hit the fence.
Oh,
Wow, she didn't even need it.
she hits a rock or something.
Valerie throwing a Z-swirl vulture there. That was masterful.
This was, at times, an absolutely soul-crushing headwind.
Mm-hmm.
Owen not quite able to get the distance.
So close.
This is such an awkward angle. It looks like there's so much room to the right, but
There's not.
no, there's not. That little tree that bends over is just bendy enough.
Yeah, and so you see a lot of shots like that where you want maybe just a tad more height. That's perfect. Whew, it's perfect. It's perfect. Whew, whew. That was great. Grand Orbit Glory from Rebecca.
Hokom opting for the forehand line. I like this line. If you're
Me
comfortable with
too.
forehand,
I wish my forehand was just a little bit better to take this. It's way more open.
it was hard today though with that head/right to left wind, really holding Hokom's disc and not allowing it to get the finish.
Oh, 1 inch low from the drop zone. And this is kind of a 2 or a 4 hole. You don't see a whole lot of pars. Valerie, pretty much a straight tailwind, I'd imagine. Maybe a little left to right.
This played as the 3rd most difficult hole today. Out of 53 competitors, there were only 2 birdies, which is just wild, but really speaks to the wind. This played as a difficult hole during U.S. Women's last year, and then they added this 4-foot wall. Kind of a miss for the FPO course design.
Rebecca going nose down putt, and the wind just slams it down. Look at even this little 10-footer feeling probably just a little sketchy.
Yep. It looks like 15 or 16 competitors made it onto the island out of 53.
Oh, really?
Yep.
And no one made their putts?
Only 2 people did.
Uh-huh.
2 birdies on the day from Erika Stinchcomb, Honk, Sophia Dunica, our Canadian goose friend.
Yeah, that one felt good. That's crazy that more people didn't make their putts. I mean, it's not like the wind was absolutely insane. Don't get me wrong, but like, wow. All right. Oh boy, hole 18. You guys ready for this?
Yeah. We'd had a right to left crosswind / sometimes a headwind. As you got closer to the trees, it was thankfully a little bit more blocked. We see a lot of drives landing in this area. I kind of like landing a little bit more left as well, but there is an OB line over there that can come into play. The further left you are, the higher on the hill, the more you can throw a hyzer into this area. You want to be close to the staircase, but not too close. Often you see players landing short and having to pitch their 3rd shot into that landing area. We have the staircase, the OB line at the base of that, forcing you to throw nose up and over the staircase to a blind island, as we affectionately call the Blyland. not the greatest course design for the players.
No, it's bad. It's not just not the greatest, it's bad.
It's not great. It's pretty bad.
It's
exciting.
No.
No, it's not exciting. It's horrible to watch, honestly.
We watched Kristen take an 11. It crushes souls. You can come in here shooting 1,000 rated round and then take a 12.
Kristen just slightly out of position here to be able to go for it. She honestly probably has the distance, but she lands in this little ditch where a lot of FPO shots filter, and it gives you no run up. So Kristen forced to do this strange little chip up.
We saw her miss 4 times yesterday and taken 11.
She is 4 down going into this hole, one of the best rounds that we've seen on the weekend.
And she goes harp, forehand, drop short, has to rethrow. You have to throw 4 times and then progress to a drop zone if you continue to not cross the island.
We watched Kristen throw from this spot yesterday. It sets up nicely for a flex forehand, but the nose up angle makes it really difficult. We had a ripping headwind
Great
today
headwind.
that made every shot more difficult. We averaged at 2.81 strokes over par yesterday.
If they just had the OB line at the top of the stairs or a drop zone at the top of the stairs or the strip was hazard, there's so many things that they could do to not have this happen. I mean, the OB is at the bullseye.
Oh my God, did she cross?
No.
Oh
wait, did she?
Oh, she did.
No. It is a marshal up there, so you can't argue with the call.
Yeah. So it's unfortunate that this design happened in general. Unfortunate that it slipped through the cracks on the review. But thankfully, there's a lot of talk happening, and hopefully something like this doesn't ever happen again. Kristen's showing us that even the best players in the world really struggling on this hole. We watched MPO players struggle on the hole. There's really no one safe stepping up to that shot on 18.
And that is going to take her to over par for the round. There's a 10. And it just, yeah. I mean, this averaged, almost 3 strokes over par yesterday, and it's an even more difficult win today.
Yeah, let's check in with Kat Merch with a wild round here.
Yeah.
She's up high on that left side. Her drive absolutely crushed. Her second
beautiful.
shot. This is perfect.
Laced.
Nobody does this.
No, I haven't seen a better second shot myself.
She's going to have to throw again. Nose up here.
Look at it float.
Yeah, really trusting that disc in the wind.
Wow.
Just, oh my gosh. I love that Kat does things that no one else does.
Right? So we had, a couple, 2, 3 birdies on this yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah. Rebecca, Evelina. I can't remember who
Add
else.
Kat Merch
Add
to
Kat
that
Merch,
list.
yeah.
Let's see. Yesterday, yeah, we had 3 birdies. Evelina, Rebecca, and Haiti Line.
Mm-hmm. What a finish from Kat Merch.
Kat Merch birdieing the hardest hole on the course, gaining strokes on folks.
Everyone just trying to bolster for this last.
Yeah, you just kind of have to let go beforehand because.
Yep. Oh boy. And look at this headwind. Come back in, come back in, come back in.
Oh my gosh, it sure does. Really trusting that disc. This tee shot was so difficult today.
It really was. And because this is normally such a good play to work this right side, I like that Rebecca went nice and stable there. But yeah, the headwind made it very sketchy.
Yeah, it kept switching between right to left and head, so you couldn't quite trust your disc to not flip.
Oh, not messing around. Gonna be shorter than you want, though, which is fine as long as you cross the next OB area. This is a nice looking forehand here from Hokom.
Yep. This landing zone is a little bit brutal as well because the ground is undulating. There are peaks and valleys. It is very difficult for run-ups. Trying to make it work.
Get up. Gonna get caught on the railroad tie and have to take it on the short side.
Yeah, the drop zone on this hole is only if you don't cross initially from the tee. There are no more drop zones until you get to the green.
That you have to cross.
Yeah. Sarah watching her cat toy. Fixated on it.
Honestly, what
Smart.
a great way to read the wind. I've never thought about that before. I'm going to get me a cat toy.
Yeah.
Looks like a right to left right now. Maybe a bit of a headwind. Ooh, got a lot of turn. Needs to fade. That's great.
And
It doesn't seem great, but
No.
it is.
on the heat map, that area is red and orange for
Mhm.
sure. That is a very
Yep.
common landing spot. Rebecca threw it so far. She's able to attack a little bit more, but this is a pretty common error, especially with that right to left crosswind, finding those tree tops. Valerie forced to go more of a turning angle into the gap.
And fade. Do it. Do it. Oh, yeah. Gorgeous.
Wow.
She'll have a chance to attack for birdie from there.
Owns 4th with the OB stroke.
Looking to put this close to the stairs. And she does. Oh, sit. Okay. It's good. I like feel anxious watching them get closer to these stairs.
Yes.
The reason we don't like it so much is just the nose up aspect.
Oh.
Oh, no, sit.
Okay.
That you have to throw to the Blyland.
Blyland.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't see the basket at all from this landing zone. No surprises. Played as the hardest hole of the day again today. Yesterday it averaged 2.81 strokes over par. Today 3.55.
Oh my god. That should just not happen.
No.
Valerie doing a good job of giving it enough heat to at least get up there and be putting from the drop zone.
Own with a very forced flex line, and we've seen her struggling with her forehand.
And that's short. No way. Oh, it's short.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is she is 13 feet away from the pin.
Yep. She is barely outside bullseye and out of bounds.
And has to rethrow. Rebecca's 4th. Ooh, I like that she didn't have to throw it as nose up there. And outside.
Just 6 inches over that back railroad tie. She kept it so low, but wanted to make sure to get across.
Honestly, a 6 feels good on this hole. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah. 6 feels like a par.
Hokom, not a little late out of her hand. Looked like it was churning.
Surprising miss there from Hokom, but again, the nerves and the trauma are unmatched on this shot.
And the classic overcorrection as well. Didn't turn it enough the first time, turn it too much the second time. Have to just keep doing the same dang thing.
Okay, so here also is where you've thrown both discs that you want to throw,
Yes.
and do
you have a third?
You start digging in your bag like you're gonna find something that works, and you're like, oh wait, no, I'm gonna have to make this thing work. That's not made for this shot. And another bullseye shot that is out of bounds. Mm-hmm. Oh, my blood's boiling watching this.
I know. And she's got to go one more time before progressing to the drop zone. Or maybe she'll make it, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that. You get 4 shots before you go to the drop zone.
And she makes sure that she at least crosses. But it doesn't matter. It's drop zone either way. Mm-hmm. Which,
oh my gosh.
You know, we've said enough about it. Everyone can see what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
This looks pretty good.
This is her 3rd go at it? I can't remember. We're good at counting, but not that good.
It's honestly, at the end of this, everyone has to count what they got, and it is very depressing.
Valerie not going to mess around here.
Just going to take the double. Can't tell. Layup?
Yeah. Smart.
Yeah, we saw a lot of women trying to run this yesterday and finding the OB.
Again, only 3 competitors getting to this island for birdie.
Yep, there it is.
Oh, man. And only 2 players able to convert. We watched Kat Murch get it. Chantel Badinsky, the other birdie 4 on the day.
Oh, man. Hokom laying up for a 13.
After a 5 string of single bogeys. Mm-hmm. And that's Sprinkle Valley.
It shouldn't be. I hope it won't be later. I love this property.
There's so much potential.
Yeah.
So much potential. And so many good holes out here already. Yeah. You can tell the care that was put into it. This is just an unfortunate overlook, especially on the FPO side. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this filtered through a few too many cracks. It's very surprising to see.
Yeah.
And thankfully, that's the last time we have to watch it and play it.
Mm-hmm. Rebecca Cox hot round at 1 over. That's insane.
That is insane. And what a save, honestly.
Cool to see Rebecca Cox in first place moving into moving day. Valerie Mandujano, Silva Sarn, and Holland Hanley rounding out the card, each shooting a +2 to secure that spot.
And those are going to be that's going to be a fun card to watch tomorrow, where we move to Harvey Pinnock. It's the course we played last year at the Austin Open golf course with a couple of wooded holes sprinkled in. Honestly, wonderful golf course.
Yeah, and great changes to that course.
Yeah, they made some very, very thoughtful changes that I can't wait wait to watch the FPO competitors play on. I think it's going to be a really exciting finish to the Austin Open.
Stick with us. The worst is over.
Thanks for hanging out during all of those extra shots we just got to watch. I'm Madison Walker.
Yes, you are. And if you're new to watching us, please like, subscribe, check out our YouTube. Do all the things that you're supposed to do on YouTube because we are really close to 500,000 followers and it'll help us out. I'm Erika Stinchcomb.
We're the two Hockeys.
Honk.
Honk.
Watch your body and I feel that sunshine. Get up on my body, know it truly, I feel fine. Get up, watch your body and I feel that sunshine. Get up on my body, know it truly, I feel fine.